Good morning, friends. This past Sunday, we saw how Jesus came to draw a line in the sand by declaring the truth. And he boldly told Pilate that those who are on the side of truth would then listen to him. They'd be on his side of the line. And I mentioned several times that the line Jesus draws is not a hazy line. It's a sharp line because he wants it to be abundantly evident as to where people stand. And I want to talk about that a little bit more tomorrow, actually, just kind of how sharp that line is. But today I want to focus on the fact that there are sides and kind of the identity of those sides, if you will. To do this, I want to go back to the picture we talked about yesterday, the day before, I can't remember which, but about the pre incarnate Christ as depicted in Joshua chapter 5. Because in that case, we read, when Joshua was by Jericho, he lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, a man was standing before him with his drawn sword in his hand. And Joshua went to him and said, "Are you for us or for our adversaries?" Now, the reason I say this is the pre incarnate Christ is because Joshua is about to fall down and worship this man, and when he does, the man does not tell him to stop. And that's significant because there are several other occasions in the scriptures where an angel appears before one of God's people, and that person then falls down to worship them because they're overwhelmed by the sight and everything that's going on. But since they're just an angel, the angel quickly tells the person to stop. Don't do that. Don't worship me, because worshiping anyone beside God Himself, of course, is a wicked thing. But in this case, this man, or this one, whom some would say was just an angel and not the pre incarnate Christ, well, he seems to accept Joshua's worship. He does not tell him to stop and don't do this wicked thing. So it clearly wasn't an angel because an angel would never let someone fall at his feet in worship. But Jesus would. In fact, on the final day, we all will fall at his feet in worship. What a glorious day that'll be. But in any case, Joshua goes up to him, and the battle for the city of Jericho is looming large in Joshua's mind. And so he asks this mysterious but obviously mighty man, he asks essentially, whose side are you on? Our side or the enemy's? Now, how does this mighty warrior, the pre incarnate Christ, respond? Does he say, "Well, of course I'm on your side, Joshua. You're one of my people"? Actually, no. Joshua asks whose side he's on, Israel's or the enemy's, and the pre-incarnate Christ responds instead, "No." So whose side are you on? My side or their side? No. But I am the commander of the army of the Lord. Now I have come. And this is where Joshua falls on his face in worship and then asks, "What does my Lord say to his servant?" Do we see what's happening here? Joshua's first question is, are you on my side or the enemy's side? But the answer comes back basically, no, it's not about which side I am on. It's about what side you are on, Joshua. And then thankfully, Joshua demonstrates that he is on the right side, the Lord's side, because as soon as he recognizes that he is standing before the Lord, he submits himself to the Lord in worship and simply asks the Lord to direct him. Because let's break this down a little bit. If this mysterious mighty warrior appeared, and Joshua asked which side he's on, and he said, "I'm on your side, Joshua," then Joshua figures, awesome, an ally. And what would be the next natural thing to have happen? Well, Joshua would say, "Okay, we got this fight coming up. Here's where I could use you to bolster our lines." That'd be entirely natural. An ally presents himself, volunteering to fight on Joshua's side. "Where do you need me, Joshua?" But that's not how it actually plays out. When Joshua realizes who it is he's standing in front of, he immediately and wisely understands that the central issue isn't asking the Lord to be on his side, Joshua's side. It's making sure that he, Joshua, is on the Lord's side. That it's not, "Lord, this is where I could use you." It's, "Lord, what would you require of me?" Because what did the pre incarnate Christ say to Joshua? Joshua asks which side he's on, and the Lord responds, "No, but I am the commander of the army of the Lord." So who gives the orders here? When the commander of the army of the Lord shows up, does Joshua maintain his primary leadership role and direct the commander of the army of the Lord as to how things ought to be done? Of course not. Joshua immediately falls into a submissive role and simply asks that commander, "What would you have me do?" Because whose battle plans will be victorious? Joshua's or the commander of the army of the Lord's? Obviously, the Lord's. And the point of all this is that we need to keep in the very forefront of our minds, even as we acknowledge that there are sides in the spiritual battle that we're fighting, we need to make sure that we understand and live according to the truth. And the truth is that we are not the commanding general of our quote unquote our side. God is not simply an ally in our fight. Our prayers should not be, Lord, I know I'm on the right side, so here's what I need you to do for me. As if we were the general laying out the battle plan and God was looking over our shoulder at the map and we're telling him where we need him to plug weaknesses in the line. No, we need to remember that the right side, the side of truth, is not our side. It is the Lord's side, and he is the commander. He is the king in this kingdom. And we really need to make sure our perspective is one where we're not just asking God for help in accomplishing our goals as if, we were the one leading the charge on our side, even if those goals would appear to be righteous goals. Rather, we need to be just like Joshua and say, what does my Lord say to his servant? Or to put it in more what we're used to hearing it, Lord, what do you want me to do? Put the focus on Jesus as the commander in the conflict, the master strategist in the spiritual war, and listen to him above all else. Don't lay down your plans, on the battle map, so to speak, and then ask him to make it happen. No, go to the Lord in prayer and submit yourself to him. Then pick up your Bible and read the battle plan he has already drawn up and made available to each and every one of us, because he is the commander of the Lord's army and he is the one who directs us to victory over all evil. He is the one who directs us to victory and triumph in the end and brings us to his glory. I love you guys. Have a good and godly day, and Lord willing, I will see you soon.